Well, hello there, everybody. It's your old pal Jebadiah Lebeaux, Esquire, Dr. Jebadiah Lebeaux, Esquire, and I'm here today for another session of Old Man in a Pan. We're going to do today's recipe. We're going to teach you how to make pizza. That's right, pizza. Everybody's favorite. Oh, hey, I know everybody loves pizza. Heck, I even eat pizza that fell on the ground once. It's great. So we're going to learn how to make it. Maybe not the kind that hits the ground, but some really good pizza. So hold on to your butts and let's get started. So before we get into it, let's talk about the history of pizza. Now, pizza-like foods can be found throughout ancient history. In the 6th century BC, the Persian soldiers of Darius the Great baked flatbreads with cheese and dates on top of their battle shields. Now, maybe that's why they lost the battles to Alexander the Great. But anyway, in the ancient Greeks, speaking of Alexander the Great, they supplemented their bread with oils and herbs and cheese and kind of started making pizza-like dishes there. In 2023, archaeologists discovered a fresco in the ruins of Pompeii. That was that city that got buried by the volcano, Mount Vesuvius. And one of them frescoes appeared to show a pizza-like dish being served amongst other food dish on a silver platter. Kind of like how we serve pizza now in pizzerias on them little shiny discs. Italy's culture minister said that the distant ancestor of the modern pizza was most likely depicted in that fresco. The first mention of the word pizza comes from a document that was discovered written in Latin from a moneylender to a shopkeeper. It was demanding a payment of 12 pizzas, a pork shoulder, a kidney on kidney. Well, not a kidney, I guess. Pork kidney. That's it. Yeah. 12 pizzas, a pork shoulder, a pork kidney on Christmas Day, and 12 pizzas and a couple of chickens on Easter Day. Now, it incidentally was the very first time that a bill collection happened as well. Modern pizzas evolved from similar flatbreads dishes in Naples, Italy, around the 18th and 19th century. Pizza was sold in open-air stands out of pizza bakeries up until about 1830. When pizzerias in Naples started having stands and carts where tables that clients could sit at and eat their pizzas right on the spot. So they weren't confined to the buildings and bakeries and whatnot. They actually made them out in the open. Pizza was then taken to the United States by Italian immigrants in the late 19th century and first appeared in areas that they concentrated in, places where they settled in the United States. So they didn't just bring the mafia, they brought the pizza too. The country's first pizzeria, Lombardi's, opened in New York City in 1905, the famous Lombardi's. That's in New York City. Italian Americans then migrated from the East Coast to the West Coast and brought along with them their pizza. From there, Americans exported their version of their pizza to the rest of the world, so that countries like China, Russia, Africa, all those other places can enjoy the wonderment that comes with eating a pizza. And, pizza itself has evolved over time, too, during the course of that period. The crust of the pizza, for example, varies so much depending on the geographic area that you're in. For example, the standard pizza that's mostly consumed in the United States is a Neapolitan pizza. It's typically a thin, hand-tossed pizza with high edges, a high rolled edge. It's soft and chewy, but crispy on the bottom. That's predominantly the style of pizza that's mostly eaten at pizzerias around the United States. But there's also different styles of pizza in different cities, like, for instance, the Chicago style, which is a deep dish, thick crust pizza. In it, it's almost like a pie. Hence, pizza pie was the term that was developed to describe that Chicago-style pizza. In cities also like Detroit, for example, they have their own little twist on pizza. They make their pizzas in rectangles, not circles. They par-bake the crust, and they put the cheese on the pizza, but they also put the sauce on top of the cheese so that the dough doesn't get soggy, as in with the Chicago-style pizza. Now, in 2017, the world pizza market was worth $128 billion. That's right, billion with the B. And in the United States alone, it was $44 billion, spread over 76,000 pizzerias. That's 76,000 pizzas. That's a lot of pizzerias making pizza every day. But there are 350 million Americans, so it doesn't seem like that's enough when you think about it. But overall, 13% of the United States population enjoys pizza every day. Every day. And today, I'm going to show you how to make it. Cheers. Okay, well, we're going to get the ingredients together here to make the dough. It's one of the things that you're going to need to do before we make the pizza, because without the pizza dough, you don't have a pizza. That's pretty interesting and profound at the same time. So, okay, first thing we got to do is get ourselves our flour. We got 3 and 1/2 cups of flour. You're going to dump that right in the mixer. Then you're going to take yourself 2 teaspoons of salt. You need that for flavor. You got yourself 1/3 cup of olive oil. You need that in there as well. And then you got yourself 2 teaspoons of yeast and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Now, why do you need the sugar? Well, you need the sugar to activate the yeast. The sugar is what the yeast feeds off of, so that it makes the whole rising process happen. And then you have a question about the yeast, probably. You want to get instant dry yeast, not active dry, instant dry yeast. Very important. If you don't get that, it won't rise fast enough. So get yourself that, and perhaps maybe some cups that the dry ingredients don't stick to. Now, when you get your yeast and your sugar together, you're going to add a little bit of that of the water, which is 1 1/4 cup of water. So put some of that in there, like so. You want to do that so it kind of wakes up the yeast, and you can tell that it's good or not. The rest of the water just kind of dump into your dough mixture. You're going to put this dough hook on, and then let's get the mixer going. Now, you can mix this by hand. You don't have to have a stand mixer, but I do it because it's a little easier. Oh, you probably don't need the Coors Light either, so let's just kind of, there, it's all gone. Okay, so when you get the yeast in there, just kind of mix it up and set it off to the side for a minute. We're going to start mixing the dough here. Like I said, you can do this by hand if you want, or with the spoon. We're doing this today so that we don't have to make a really long video, or any longer than we've done so far. So start off at a low speed. Let the dough kind of mix up. You may want to put yourself a little later in there to scrape the sides. Scrape them down so that we get a good mixture in there. What we want to do is incorporate the dough with the water, and let the water get absorbed by the flour. You have a little bit of a shaggy mess, and what we're trying to do, like I said, is to get the water and the flour absorbed together, and then we're going to let it rest. This process is called autolyse, when you let the initial water and flour come together. So when you get a good mix, it looks like it's mixed up pretty good. Almost there. We want to get all that stuff at the bottom kind of incorporated so it really can absorb. Now we're going to let it rest for about 20 minutes. Okay, now it looks like you got your 20 minutes of resting time for the dough. And you can see that the dough is kind of put together pretty well. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our yeast. Now, you can tell something's different about this yeast. It looks like there's a whole lot more bubbling happening. When you added the water into the yeast with the sugar, it activated and started making the gases that create the leavening for the dough. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there, and we're going to start the motor again. It's a little slow. Get it well incorporated. Get that yeast in there, just nice and well mixed. And while this thing is mixing, we're going to also let it knead. That's the word I'm looking for. What's that word I need? It's the word knead. We're going to knead this dough with the mixer. This little dough hook is gonna beat the dough and add some more air into the mixture. We're gonna let that go for about 10 minutes, and once we're done, we're gonna let it rest. Now, the reason why we need to knead the dough is because we need to put air into the dough. You know, it's been universally understood throughout the entire baking industry that anytime you're making any type of bread, whether it be crust or actual loaves of bread or whatnot, if you knead the dough, meaning fold it over on itself a bunch of times and just kind of work it, stretch it, beat it, whatever you want to call it, it adds air into the dough, makes a lighter, fluffier texture when you're done baking it. So we definitely want that for our pizza. So we're going to go ahead and beat this thing for 10 minutes. Now you'll find that during the course of the mixing, it doesn't look like the dough's doing a whole lot but sticking to the side of your bowl. If you're just patient and trust the process, eventually the dough will kind of move around, and it will start forming into a ball like this one. Like I said, we're doing this for 10 minutes, so um, what you're going to end up seeing is this dough is going to start pulling away from the side of the bowl, and it's going to make itself into a nice little dough ball. Uh, that dough ball will get beat against the side of the pan, the bowl, and it will, as you can kind of see it's doing right now, that's the process of kneading. The mixer and the dough hook are going to start just pulling and pulling and stretching and pulling. But don't worry if it doesn't happen right away. Just trust that it's going to happen. Keep scraping down the side of your bowl, and eventually you're going to find that it looks just like this when you're done. Okay, now after about that 10 minutes, you should see something like this, where the dough looks like it's a nice little cohesive ball being whipped around by the mixer. You might not have a cat nearby, but if you do, it's probably a good thing. Some people say it's good luck. Anyway, what you want to do is stop your mixer and let your cat kind of walk away. And then when your mixer's stopped, you're going to want to take your bowl, lightly put a little bit of oil in the bowl, just kind of lightly coat it, and then take your dough out of the bowl. Put it aside there. You can leave it in the bowl if you want. I prefer to take it out because I like to use the mixer bowl for other things. But kind of get as much of that dough off as you can, and then take your dough and put it in the bowl. All right. Now, what we're going to do next is something called bulk fermentation. So you want to take your dough, form it into a little bit of a ball, kind of like what we're doing here. Nice little cohesive ball. And then you want to put a cover on it. Just to kind of trap the moisture inside of it, like so. And you want to let it set for about 1 hour, or until it doubles in size. That's the magic word. They say until it doubles in size, whatever the hell that means. But you should know from just looking at it. It looks like this now. When it doubles in size, it should be up to about this line in the bowl. That's just the way I kind of benchmark it. But, so let's just set it there and wait for an hour. You okay with that, Cat? You all right with that, Nani? Nani doesn't have an opinion. All right, whatever. So let's just sit and wait. Okay, so now that the thing is doubled, and like I said, to the line there, you're gonna have yourself a nice proofed out dough. So what you want to do is take yourself a little board, put a little flour on it, maybe a little more flour. There you go. That's a good amount. Okay, and then turn your dough out on it. This process is called bulk fermentation. You're going to let it rise, let the gases form in it, so you get all these little bubbles in it, and then you'll be ready to actually start making the pizza dough. So what you want to do is with this batch, you want to start forming it into, cut it in half, and then cut it in half again. Get yourself 4 equal pieces. Pull it off to the side. Each one, well, that's not off to the side, but there you go. So once you get them, you want to form them into little dough balls. And stretch the dough as much as you can. Kind of stretch it. Peel it off into little dough balls. Put it off to the side. The idea behind this is that you can either make 4 pizzas at the same time, or make 4 little dough balls and put them in the refrigerator or the freezer and save them for later. At the same time, what you want to do when you're at this point is turn your oven on and preheat it to about 450 degrees. You're going to want to have a high heat oven to cook your pizza. So, got your little dough balls there. The idea of stretching the dough, God, I hope this is okay. Yeah, it sure is okay. The idea of stretching the dough is to create a little gluten barrier so that the gases from the yeast inside this dough will expand, come up, and kind of make a little balloon so that it rises, acts as a leavening agent so that you have yourself a good formed dough. All right, so the next step here we're going to do is actually make a pizza. So hold on your hats. Okay, so we're back here. We got our dough rolled out into little balls, and now we're ready to start making our pizza. So first thing you want to do, flour your work surface. We're going to shape this dough into the size of a little mini pizza. So let's do that one more time here. All right, so plop your dough down and then just start pressing it. What you want to do, press around in a circle. You want to force the air from the middle to the edges. So start pushing it out. And as you push it, rotate the dough so that you get yourself a nice little roll. Ignore the Coors Light. Don't drink 8 beers like I did during the course of this video. Do yourself a favor. Try and concentrate on what you're doing and stretch the dough out. Grab it. Once you get it rounded out, start pulling it. Get that nice little round, even crust. But what you want to do, let the dough stretch itself. Gravity is your friend. except when you're falling off a ladder, of course. Then it could be your worst enemy. You never know. So get yourself a little pull, a little tug, and rotate as you do it. You'll find people taking it like this and then throwing it in the air and catching it and making it round. We're not going to do that because we can't really get that on camera. Uh, so, like I said, in the background, you can kind of hear the oven going. It's saying it's reached the temperature of 450 degrees. We're not quite ready yet to put a pizza in there because, well, it's just not flat enough yet. All right. Once you got it stretched out enough, you're going to want to get yourself a pan, lightly greased. Throw your dough on the pan. And stretch it and pull it as much as you can without ripping the dough, kind of like what I did there. You don't want to do that. But stretch the dough out as much as possible without ripping it. Keep in mind, as the dough stretches out, it's going to get thinner and thinner. That's kind of why we oil the bottom. Hey, Gracie, what the heck are you doing? We're trying to make pizza here. You're looking for turkey, ain't you? Yeah, well, there she goes. Just running off. All right. So there we are. We got the pizza in the oven. Like I said, 450 degrees. So you're going to sit here for 15 minutes and let this thing cook. Okay, now when you get the pizza out of the oven off the pan, you're going to put it in one of these little trays here and get yourself the pizza cutter I was talking about and slice her on through. And sorry about the shaky cam. That's what I said. Okay, so yeah, once you get it all sliced up, there you go. You got yourself a nice little slice of pizza. You're gonna have plenty of time to eat this thing up. You enjoy it and eat it, and it'll be great. Well, that's the recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe learned a little something today about pizza. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys again on the next one. Take care and be good to yourselves.